That knot of guilt you feel buying something for yourself is a survival instinct. Most people think it's a sign of fiscal responsibility. It's actually your ancient brain screaming that a tiger is in the room. This feeling has no easy answer, and smart, successful people are tormented by it. One side argues it's the engine of wealth. The other argues it's a prison you build yourself. Where do you stand? By the end of this, your answer might feel a lot less certain. Let's start by defending the instinct. Let's build the strongest possible case for this financial anxiety. This feeling, this financial anorexia, is a feature of your design. For 99.9% of human history, the world was a place of brutal scarcity. Your ancestors were one bad harvest, one failed hunt, one dry season away from total catastrophe. The humans who felt a pang of anxiety before consuming a resource, the ones who defaulted to saving, were the ones who survived the winter. The ones who feasted without a care were filtered out of the gene pool. Their lineage ended. Yours continued. You are the direct descendant of the most anxious, resource-hoarding, forward-planning hominids that ever lived. That guilt is their ghost in your machine. Your brain's threat detection system, the amygdala, is old hardware. It was designed to react instantly to physical threats like predators. It has no nuanced setting for first-world problems. A sudden drop in your bank account, even for a planned expense, can trigger the same low-level panic as the sound of a twig snapping in a dark forest. It's just a signal that says resources diminishing, potential danger ahead. The system is crude. It's binary. It screams no because no was the safest answer for 100,000 years. This system is a smoke detector. You want it to be overly sensitive. You would rather have a few false alarms, a little guilt over buying a new pair of shoes, than have it fail to go off when the house is actually on fire. In this view, the people who lack this instinct, the ones who spend effortlessly and without a flicker of concern, are the ones playing with fire. They are ignoring the alarm bells that have kept our species alive. This instinct for scarcity is the bedrock of delayed gratification. It's what powers the discipline to save for a down payment, invest for retirement, and build a buffer against the inevitable chaos of life. It's the voice that whispers, "Are you sure? Do you really need this? What if you need this money later?" And more often than anyone likes to admit, that voice is right. It's the reason you have an emergency fund when your car breaks down. It's the reason a medical bill doesn't send you into a debt spiral. It is the architect of security. To pathologize it, to call it a disorder, is to misunderstand its fundamental purpose. It's your guardian. That sounds convincing. A powerful defense of prudence. But there's a problem. This logic completely falls apart the moment the threat becomes imaginary. What happens when the smoke detector is screaming day and night in a house that has never seen a flame? This is where the metaphor of anorexia becomes chillingly accurate. It describes a disordered perception of reality. You look at a healthy bank account and see starvation. You look at a life of abundance and feel the constant gnawing anxiety of poverty. The survival instinct has become untethered from the world it exists in. It's a ghost haunting a house that no longer exists. And here is the critical part. Your nervous system is a learning machine. It calibrates itself based on your behavior. Every time you deny yourself a small pleasure you can easily afford, you are casting a vote. You are telling your brain, "See, we are in danger. We must conserve." The threat is real. You are actively training your own nervous system to live in a state of perpetual fear. It has a physical cost. Chronic, low-level anxiety keeps your body marinating in stress hormones like cortisol. This degrades your sleep, impairs your immune system, and contributes to burnout. You can work 60 hours a week, build a fortress of financial security, and still live with the internal biological reality of someone on the brink of homelessness. You have won the game, but you are psychologically barred from collecting the prize. Your body is paying the price for a danger that exists only in your head. Imagine the man who inherited a significant sum from his parents, who worked their whole lives so he wouldn't have to struggle. He has millions in investments, yet he continues to drive a 15-year-old car with failing brakes. He eats the cheapest food, wears clothes until they have holes, and keeps his house cold in the winter to save a few dollars on heating. When his friends suggest a vacation, a wave of panic washes over him. The thought of spending that money feels like a physical violation. He is honoring his parents' hard work by living a life of miserable, unnecessary deprivation. He is a king living in a self-imposed prison cell, polishing the bars and calling it responsibility. This is a profound disrespect to the work and sacrifice that created his freedom. The caution that once built security has now become the very thing that destroys his quality of life. The tool has become the master. It's a cage built from prudence, but it is a cage nonetheless, and yet, dismissing this instinct as a simple disorder feels dangerously out of touch for most people on the planet. There is a world of difference between the millionaire who is afraid to buy a new car and the family with a few thousand in savings, where a new car would be a genuinely catastrophic expense. For the vast majority of people, that scarcity alarm is calibrated to reality. It's what keeps the lights on. To tell them their caution is a psychological trap is an insult. It ignores the legitimate razor-thin margins they live on. So where is the line? The truth is that the problem is one of calibration. The instinct itself is morally neutral. It's a tool. The real trap is the failure to adjust the sensitivity of that tool as your circumstances change. Most people operate with a financial set point that is programmed into their nervous system during childhood and early adulthood. It's the level of financial stress that feels normal. If you grew up in a household where money was a constant source of tension, your nervous system might have a set point calibrated to a high level of anxiety. Even if you become incredibly successful, your brain will constantly try to pull you back to that familiar feeling. It mistakes the absence of financial stress for a sign that you are being reckless. This is why so many people who win the lottery or get a sudden windfall lose it all. Their nervous system manufactures chaos through reckless spending or bad investments to return to the state it recognizes as normal: scarcity. The person with financial anorexia is on the other side of the same coin. Instead of manufacturing chaos, they freeze. They hoard the resources, paralyzed by the fear of losing them. And in doing so, they also return to a familiar state. They live as if they are poor, creating an internal environment of scarcity that matches their neurological set point. Both the reckless spender and the fearful hoarder are puppets of the same master, an outdated internal map of the world. The core tension is this: the very instinct that helped you become secure is now the primary obstacle to feeling secure. The discipline that got you out of debt is now the source of your misery and abundance. You are at war with a former version of yourself. You are using tools designed for demolition to try and furnish a home. It will never work. The strategies of survival are the enemies of thriving. The final cruel irony is that by refusing to spend, you are guaranteeing the outcome you fear most. You work your entire life to build freedom, only to live as a slave to the fear of losing it. You have effectively made yourself poor, regardless of what your bank statement says. So we are left with two conflicting truths. A deeply encoded scarcity instinct is a powerful evolutionary advantage. It builds discipline, fosters security, and protects you from ruin. But that exact same instinct, when left unchecked in a world of relative abundance, becomes a psychological prison. It generates chronic stress, steals the joy from your achievements, and chains you to a life of needless anxiety. It turns the reward for your hard work into a source of torment. It's a tightrope. Lean too far one way, you fall into recklessness. Lean too far the other, you live a life of quiet desperation, rich on paper and destitute in spirit. So what do you think? Where do you draw the line between responsible prudence and a self-sabotaging fear? How do you teach an ancient survival instinct that the war is over and that it is finally safe to come home?